Well, we've kind of figured out when the right-wingers go too far. You know, right-wing identity politics devolves into claims of ethnic and racial superiority and moral justification on the grounds of those for actions based on those categories. Right. When do the left-wingers go too far? Oh, we don't know. Well, first of all, we certainly know that they can go too far. If you don't understand that the left has gone too far, then you're woefully ignorant or you're willfully blind. Those are the two categories.
Example of that was C16, which when we first started hearing about you 2 years ago, was restricted to transgender pronouns.
Yeah, well, it was for me.
Was
because,
for you.
Yeah, because my sense was, well, what's this law about? Well, it's about transgender rights. It's like, well, that's one of the things it's about. But it's also about the government's decision that they can use, that there's a certain morality of compassion, hypothetical compassion, can be used to compel the contents of voluntary speech. It's like, sorry, no, I'm not going there. You guys jumped out of your box. You're in a domain you shouldn't be playing with. I don't give a damn if you're justifying it with your false compassion, because what I saw it as was an extension of this leftist hierarchical critique rather than anything that had to do with true compassion. And so I might have been wrong about that, but I was correct in a couple of assumptions. One is that had never been attempted before in the history of British common law, of English common law. It was also made illegal by the Supreme Court in 1942 in the United States. And there was no precedent for that sort of thing in Canadian law. So the idea that that was an extension of governmental power beyond what had been attempted previously in Canadian society and in English common law history was definitely true. And
it's the free speech thing that really bothered you, when people try to regulate the free speech. That was a big alarm bell.
Well, it wasn't even that they were trying to regulate it. We have some regulation of free speech already, right? Libel laws, for example, defamation, and so forth, and those are justifiable. Free speech doesn't mean you can lie about someone in a harmful way, for example. And maybe you could even make a case that hate speech laws are justifiable, even though I don't think they're justifiable, because it raises the specter of who defines hate, and that's actually a fatal flaw. But it's a whole different thing to say, well, here's some things you can't say, than to say, here's some things you have to say. It's like, no, sorry, what do you mean by have to? Exactly. It's like, and my sense in that situation was, I'm not doing that. So you are not compelling what I'm going to say. You've gone too far. And I think of that, I think that I have a responsibility to the content of my speech that, as far as I'm concerned, is sacred. It's like no politics in the realm of compelled speech, period. There's no way you're going there, especially not if you're motivated by your goddamn ideology. So that was a line as far as I was concerned.